Alright, so I think it should be ready now. So, alright. Hi everyone, I'm Alfred from A Nerd of Passion. So whoever that you are watching this, so I would like to say a very big thank you for you guys coming to check this out. This really means a lot to me. So welcome to the very first YouTube live stream lecture put together by us. So today I'll talk about 9 highly effective studies habits. Okay, so of course there is the live stream. So there is a live chat section that you guys can just go up there, make yourself comfortable or have a chat around. And so before I move on, I would also like to say a big thank you to my girlfriend for putting all this together. She helped me a lot with the lectures. Alright, so I'll just fire up my PowerPoint slides so we can get started with this. Alright, so I'll just open this up, put myself down in the corner. Yep, and bring this up. Yep, right here. So I'll just fire up my PowerPoint slides. So once again, a very big welcome. So let us begin. Okay, so just let me begin by introducing myself. So who am I? So who is this Alfred? Right, so I'm Alfred. So currently I'm doing my 3rd year at Melbourne Uni. So there you can see there's just a picture of myself when I was on my Sydney trip, where I found a street named after me, and then I decided to take this cool picture of myself that I thought that was really funny. I'm currently also majoring in physics. So physics is probably the hardest science, and we study pretty much everything around us, from atoms, balls, cars, to the entire universe. So it's a very fascinating area of study. It's something that I love doing. I do it for a living, and physics is my girlfriend. So so you can see these 2 pictures that I've over here. Just some picture of my work. The picture you're seeing on the left is just an experiment that I'm doing that involved the diffraction grading of white light, where you take white light and then you split it to the different color spectrum. And the whiteboard on the right is just some calculations that I'm doing typically in my daily life. So every day I'm just solving equations, figuring things out, and not so much performing experiments anymore, because I'm not really planning to be an experimental physicist. So okay, so a little bit of a backstory. Actually, I'm a very late achiever. So which means when I was a kid growing up, I was never really the brightest student. When I was a kid, I was actually really mediocre in school. I never really did well. Once in a while I did kind of well, but most of the time it's kind of just average, just managed to get by. I had no idea what I want. I was all over the place. Okay, so all those changed when I was 15 years old. I think I was around year 9 during the time where I decided, okay, I need to start getting better, and I discovered science. Actually, I started off with chemistry. So I started chemistry. I realized it's really fun. Learning about chemicals, mixing acid, bases, making bombs, poisons, and things like that. Okay, so back then, I started falling in love with chemistry. So I worked really hard with it. I was really fascinated by it, and I enjoyed doing it really much. And then now, and then soon enough, my focus started to shift. My interest started to turn towards physics. I wanted to explain why things work. I don't really want to just balance chemical equations all the time. So okay, so from that on, I kept working hard. I really enjoyed doing it, and then my results, my performance slowly increased dramatically. Okay, so for those of you who are watching this that is currently having a tough time in school, struggling, all over the place, getting confused all the time, don't get discouraged. It's because we are never. It's never too late for us to start. Actually, there are many successful people that actually achieve success at a much later part in their life. So you don't need to be a child genius. You don't need to be when you're a kid you get straight A's, or in order for you to achieve success at any point in your life. So fast forward to the year 2012. So that is I think, yep, so 3.5 years ago. So that is when I finished high school with an ATAR score of 99.55. Actually, it was really much higher than what I was expecting. Because back then I didn't really expect so much. All I expect was I really enjoyed learning things. I really enjoyed reading different physics books, and I was like, yep, whatever comes. And then when I received my result 99.5, I was really impressed. And I mean, I was the best in my high school. So they wrote up in a news like a little newspaper article about me. So as you can see over there, I've seen by this the newspaper article. Right. Okay. So as a tutor, I've been doing this for 2.5 years already and loving every minute of it. I mean, tutoring for me is a really fun. You know, I share some of my ideas. You know, help out students. You know, help them improve in my studies. You know, teach them like how to start, like how to be like a nerd like myself to study a lot more effectively. So along the way, I've also I've read a lot of different books. You know, I studied study skills, education, psychology, self-development book, etc. So I'm actually a very avid reader. So I read about 30 minutes every day. You know, I just dedicate some time to read something so I can kind of broaden my knowledge to share with other people. So just a nice picture of my bookshelf. So at the top section you see like some of my physics books. So I just collect all the different physics books, and at the bottom you can see some of my various different books. So there is a philosophy, some books on business, and I think there is a book on religion as well that I read around like when I was in high school back then. So yeah, I love reading, so I do it almost every day. So it's kind of like a hobby. And of course, I mean, even though I do pretty well in school, I don't really pride myself in being the best student. Like, because I'm pretty sure there are many like other students out there that are way smarter than I am. But actually, rather I pride myself in having the what it takes to get from the D grade all the way to the A grade. Like if you're struggling in school, I mean, I know how that feels because I've been there. I know how much it sucks, and I know exactly the steps you need to take and exactly what it takes to get to where you want to be, like being able to do well in school, being able to not worry about going like which course you want to go to. You want to be able to, any course you want to go to, anything you want to do, you'll be able to do them without having to worry about if I'm able to actually get there. So before I move on and talk about what the main bits today on like study skills, actually I'll just have a brief discussion on what the things that I'm currently working on. So as I mentioned, I'm currently doing a physics. So I mean physics, there is so many different branches. So currently I'm working on a statistical mechanics. So what is statistical mechanics? So basically what it is kind of employing the methods of statistics and probability into the study of physics. Okay, so the reason we need that is because in physics sometimes we have to deal with a problem that has many different bodies, say like a container of gas particles. And because we have so many bodies, we need probability and statistics theory to actually work that out. Okay, so it's also really important is because it serves as a bridge between thermodynamics and classical mechanics, like Newton's law and everything, and thermodynamics, heat, temperature, and all the stuff like that. So for those of you who are doing a statistical mechanics, you'll definitely fall in love with the equation that I've attached over there. It's called the Maxwell's distribution formula. It's a beautiful formula. It can be used to prove many different results from thermodynamics. I'm also working on the applications of quantum mechanics. So basically taking all the quantum mechanics principle and then applying it onto more realistic systems. So the picture you're seeing there is just shapes of electron clouds. So for those of you who have done physics or chemistry, if you think that electrons, they are kind of spherically distributed around the cloud, unfortunately you're wrong. It's actually it's a lot more complicated than that, and they distribute over themselves in the cloud in a very beautiful way. It's the picture over there is called spherical harmonics. So if you have the opportunity, definitely look into that. It's really beautiful. I'm also learning programming, so it's really fun. Actually, it's really fun to learn programming. It's kind of like learning how to get your computer to do things that you can't really do it otherwise. And finally, I'm also doing my own research on the mindfulness. So basically what it is kind of like a state of consciousness, and also a state of like being like fully engaged with it and just like enjoying the novelty of the ideas. It's actually really powerful that if you can incorporate the idea of mindfulness into your own studying, it helps make studying a lot more fun, a lot more enjoyable, and a lot more durable. Not really the main focus for today's lecture. I'll talk a bit more about mindfulness maybe at some point in the future. Like I might write a blog article about that in the future. Okay, so I mean you might wonder, why do we want to develop study skills? Like what is the point of all this? Okay, so what is study skills? Is study skills broadly means, you know, how do you study effectively? I mean, think about this. Say you want to you have a exam coming up in 1 year, and you have 1 year time to study this amount of content. So how will you go about doing it? I mean, unfortunately, in schools, this isn't much covered that much. Usually, teachers assume that, you know, just teach the content, students will be able to absorb everything, and then they should be good to go. Okay, so being able to study effectively is a really important skill. So, in order to study effectively, in order to achieve like academic excellence, basically you need two things. So one, you need the knowledge, you know, like the content that the school wants you to learn, and secondly, you know, like the study skills to help you get there, to build up the body of knowledge that, you know, that the school is looking for. Okay, so the beautiful thing about developing study skills is that if you work on both, you'll notice an exponential increase in your knowledge. Okay, so as opposed to the flat linear increase in the knowledge, like the amount of time you actually spend studying. The reason why you're developing study skills is because when you develop your study skills, you study more effectively, and you study more effectively, you'll be able to learn a lot faster. So when you learn a lot faster and then you develop your study skills even more, and then you have to, and then you're able to learn a lot faster. So of course, developing study skills should not substitute your study time. I'm not asking you just develop study skills to go study. I mean, you still have to study. It's just that with study skills, you'll be able to learn a lot more effectively. So that is the beautiful thing. Okay, so I'll be covering a lot of information in today's lecture. But if there's only one thing that I want you to remember from this entire lecture, it's just this one simple message. So the key takeaway message is that achieving academic excellence, or actually excellence in pretty much any field, is within everyone's grasp. So everyone can do it. All you need is hard work and smart work. So you don't need to be a genius, you don't need to be like a natural born talent or anything. All you need is hard work and smart work. Smart work. I mean, and everyone can do it. I did it. You know, I worked for it and then I achieved it. So I mean, so can you. Right. So now let us begin. You know, discussing what exactly is the 9 highly efficient study habits that I've been talking about since I've started the lecture. Okay, so and why 9? I mean, it's nothing special about 9. Maybe it could be 5, it could be 10, it could be 100. But these are just a 9 study habits that along the way I've noticed. You know, like in high achieving students and in myself that that if once you cultivate that, it will really help with you studying a lot better. And it's all boiled down to actually like really learnable things, like being able to do well in school. Right. Okay. So let us begin by the very first one. So looking at the bigger picture. Okay. So very often when we are in school, or when in life, we get bogged down with many many little things going on around us. Say for example, in school, you have a SEC coming up, you have a test coming up, you have an assignment due next week, you want to hang out with your friends, you have this, you have that, and then we get bogged down with the little things, and then we kind of lose sight of the bigger picture. Like asking ourselves, like why exactly are we, studying so hard? Like why are we in this? Why do we have to go to school? Right. Okay. So by asking ourselves, like, why do we do this? We basically have a view of the bigger picture. So we have a sense of direction. Why are we doing this? Of course, different people have different reasons for actually studying. Studying, and why are they doing it? Okay. So looking at the bigger picture, it's kind of like there is an analogy for it. Imagine you are trekking. Say you want to hike a mountain, and you are surrounded by a forest. Okay, so you know where your destination is, and what happens is as you trek, what happens is you get lost. It's like losing sight of the bigger picture is like getting lost because you have all the trees surrounding you. You can't really see what is ahead of you. Okay, so there is actually one technique used by hikers is they climb up the tree. They climb up to a very high tree, like a vantage point. Could be a tree, could be a mountain, or like a little hill or anything. So by standing up there, they'll be able to see their destinations, and they'll be able to look at the surrounding, like the scenery surrounding them. Like maybe there might be a river there might be some dangerous terrain you want to avoid over there, and So doing that, you give yourself a sense of direction. It's like you know where you are going, like what you need to do. Okay, so this looking at the bigger picture, it gives us the inspiration, it gives us the motivation, a sense of direction on where to go next. Okay, so personally, like why do I study so hard? Is that because studying, it's a lot more than just getting the good results. I mean, unfortunately, schools, parents, they place way too much emphasis on this. Like, oh, you need to do well in school. Oh man, like you give me the A. I mean, Asian parents, my parents, growing up. I'm pretty sure many times when I was a kid, I disappointed them a lot. But I mean, fortunately for them, that doesn't happen. That doesn't really happen anymore. Okay, so when it comes to studying hard, it's not just about the results for me. It's a lot bigger than that. It's about improving your intellectual abilities. You're just in there to become smarter. You're just learning the problem solving skills, and ultimately becoming who you want to be. Who I want to be. So I want to be a physicist or a theoretical physicist. So you know what, I need to study. I need to learn all the physics. I need to build up my math skills, all my skills in order to become a physicist. So one day I'll be able to discover something new. Contribute, maybe discover a new knowledge for mankind. So which is why that gives me the motivation and gives me the drive to keep studying really hard and do well in school. So this leads to the second habit. Okay, so enjoyment in studying. Okay, so if you ask me like what is the most important factor when it comes to doing well in school, I mean different people have different answers, but this is what my take is. Okay, so to me, if you want to do well in school, the most important thing is passion. You got to be really love what you're doing. You got to really love studying. I mean, hence the name, a note of passion, to capture the most important essence of doing well in school. So why is passion really important? It's because only when we actually enjoy studying, actually when we are passionate about it, is when we can actually learn it fully. I mean, the thing about, say, anything you're passionate about, say a video game, say like some shooter game like Counter-Strike or Dota or anything like that. So I mean, when we play, we don't really expect any like external rewards. We don't really expect like a result, or you can earn money from that, or your parents are going to shower you with praise once you beat the game. Okay, but we still really enjoy doing it. Okay, so the reason why we still want to go in and play it, and we learn all the different tricks, different techniques, all the secrets, all everything, it's purely because we enjoy it. And then when we enjoy it, we can actually learn it a lot better. So if you can take that into studying, and then yes, you'll be able to study a lot better, and actually you won't find studying painful. Actually, you find it like something you want to do. I mean, passion is what keeps you up at night to try to figure out the same problem, and passion is what wakes you up early in the morning and wanting to go and figure more things out. I mean, let's be real here. I mean, whenever we talk about studying, like what is the first thing that comes to mind? Probably this guy. It's like, I have to study. Oh man, I have an exam coming up. Oh, why am I doing this? I want to quit school. Oh, school sucks. It's like, I mean, if you look at like especially like Facebook, like VC Facebook groups, you tend to see a lot of like negativity, a lot of people complaining around over there. Ideally, you don't want to get sucked into that. You want to be different. You want to be the guy that actually enjoys the study. I mean, I'm pretty sure you should know me by now. This is like how I view a study. Just a picture of me getting a couple of like science books from a second-hand bookstore that I got a really good deal on those, and look at me, getting all like hyped out. Like, hey, I got some physics books, gonna go home and can't wait to go home and actually start reading them. I mean, when I study, you don't see me actually go like getting to read a book. I sit down there getting all all focused, all enjoying studying, and it's kind of like there's a joy for me into it, and I really enjoy doing it. I mean, you can lock me in the room, give me some physics book, and then I can almost come up for like at least like 3 days. Right. Okay, so if you want to get down to it, okay, so like what are the most important elements for like success in pretty much anything? Definitely, you need 3 things. Passion. I mean, I spent like a couple of minutes talking about that just now. Hard work. I mean, you cannot escape hard work, and passion is what makes hard work like a lot more enjoyable, a lot more fun. And finally, smart work. Okay, so if you, for those of you who have found your passion, you know what you want to, you have ambitions, you know what you want to achieve in life, really good for you. You're way ahead of the game. And for those of you who haven't like figured out what your passion is, you don't really know what you want to do in the future, go out and find something. Keep looking, because passion is something to be discovered, and once you discover it, you got to keep cultivating that. And of course, finally, that is for today's lecture. I'll be focusing more on the smart work side of the equation. And once you put those three together, equals in capital letters success. So with these three elements, you'll be really good to go. And then all the rest, they'll all just come in very naturally. Right. Okay. So the next habit. It's kind of like a mindset shift that I find is really important and ultimately like really a game changer. So what I call the fixed mindset versus the growth mindset. Okay, so what is the fixed mindset and the growth mindset? Recently, if you kind of look around education, I think there is a lot of buzz going on around this idea of having the growth, like adopting the growth mindset. So I'll explain on what it is. A fixed mindset is basically the belief or the idea that you hold in your head that intelligence is fixed. It's kind of like genetics. If you're born with it, good for you. If you're born intelligent and you're born smart, good for you. You're going to enjoy your life. Everything's going to be easy. You're going to be smart, and you're lucky. And if you're born down, okay, too bad for you, man. You're going to have a tough life. You're never going to succeed. You're going to fail every test. Okay, so that is the idea of fixed intelligence. That means intelligence is something that is fixed. Once you have it, if you have it, you have it. If you don't have it, you don't have it, and that's pretty much what it is. Or the growth mindset, on the other hand, basically argues the other way around. It says that intelligence is actually something that can be cultivated. It's actually it's kind of like a muscle that needs a cultivation. So it says intelligence and doing well in studies is not a product of natural born talent. When you grow up, maybe there might be some talent, but ultimately, it is your willingness to actually work and cultivate intelligence makes the difference. So doing well in school and being intelligent is actually a product of hard work over time to accomplish the skill. Okay, so of course this is a lot more true. Is because the neuroscientists discovered something called neuroplasticity. So basically, the idea that our mind is kind of like a muscle, and it can actually change by actually working on it. So if you work on if you say you decide to work to become more caring, actually by working on it, you can actually become more caring. So the part of the brain that says, okay, I want to be a caring person, actually gets stronger. And of course there is an opposite effect as well. So if you get lazier, you just get tenderness, so your mind will just kind of get all soft. It's kind of like when you stop exercising, your muscles get all soft. It all becomes fats and everything. Okay, so ultimately the fixed mindset will hold us back. Okay, so the reason for that is say you believe that you're not intelligent. Say you believe you are dumb. You don't really see much reason for pushing yourself and learning more, because you're like, oh man, like what's the point? I'm stupid anyway. And likewise, if you are intelligent and then you hold a fixed mindset, it will actually work against you rather than for you. Also, the reason for that is actually if you believe that you are intelligent, you have a natural tendency to avoid challenges, because when you tackle a challenging problem and then you fail, it's going to invalidate your belief that you are actually intelligent, and then you look kind of down to other people. It's, oh man, he didn't succeed in doing that problem. Well, so when doing that, it's like other people is going to kind of say, oh, you're not that intelligent, and it kind of hurts the idea that you have intelligence. So you have a tendency to avoid the challenges. And likewise, growth mindset will push us to keep on growing. So every minute spent stuck on a problem, every minute that you spend studying, every minute spent reading a book, actually gets us more intelligent. Your mind is actually growing and becoming a lot stronger. I had a first-hand experience with this. When I was a kid, I was all over the place. And then once I started working hard, I started, studying. I never really believed. When I was a kid, I never really believed I'm smart. I'm just hardworking. I'm willing to go in there and do everything I can to, change things. And then I became a lot better. So I think without knowing, I kind of adopted the growth mindset on my own. It was only until around 2 years ago where I discovered, oh yeah, that is a growth mindset. Yep, it all makes so much sense to me now. Okay, so this is a growth mindset that once you adopt it, you will really see a huge improvement in your studies, and you really need to believe in it, because sometimes progress will feel very slow. So which brings us to the next step. Be realistic with yourself. So no matter how good you are, how bad you are, just admit it. Even for me, even though I'm kind of doing okay in school, there are still some stuff that I'm really confused about. Say for example, pure math. That pure math, it's way beyond me. I took a pure math subject last semester, and I mean, I managed to get past, but after that semester, I'm like, yeah, enough pure math for me. I mean, I got to be realistic with myself. I'm not going to deal with pure mathematics anymore. I'm just going to deal with like kind of applied mathematics. I'm going to work with physics, not mathematics. But so, being realistic with yourself. So, just assess yourself, assess your own situation, and then just admit it. So, just accept it. Okay, so, and of course, there is no shame in being bad with studies. Because when you're bad with studies, people will judge you. Like your parents will say, "Oh, why are you so dumb?" Like, "Oh, you're a shame to the family." Or teachers will go like, "This is so easy. Why can't you learn?" Like, and then we start feeling guilty. We start feeling like shameful for being bad with studies. We start thinking that like maybe there's something wrong with me. Actually, in reality, it's nothing like that. Actually, it's written in the book. By Carol Dweck. I think I've written that for the previous effective study habit. Like the idea of a growth mindset, and teachers, how they should facilitate the growth mindset rather than giving like praise that compliments the compliments intelligence, should rather give praise that compliments effort. Things like, "Oh yeah, good work, man. I see that you put in a solid effort." Or if they don't do so well, yeah, saying things like, "Oh, okay, I know you didn't do so well, but with a bit more effort, you can definitely achieve a success." I mean, it's a very simple idea, but it can. I mean, to a child, it can really affect like the way they see themselves. Okay, so there's no shame in being bad at study. It just means that you haven't really put in the effort. Maybe you were not motivated enough to study, or maybe you were having some beliefs that you're holding yourself back, or things like that. And it can be learned. It can be rectified. Okay, so if you're bad at something, the mindset to adopt is I suck, but I'm proud of it. No matter what you do, no matter when you start with something, there will be a phase where you're going to be very bad at it. I mean, when I started doing chemistry, I'm not like, oh, immediately I got all the good results. I had to spend hours. I look up online articles, I read textbooks, I read books, try to piece things together. So what you're seeing is just me, achieving the success. But what you didn't see is me, like sitting in my own room, getting all frustrated, getting all like self-doubts, everything is starting to creep in, trying to keep working on it. But I'm proud of it. I mean, I'm proud of putting in all the hard work and to keep trying to improve on it. And likewise, if you're already doing pretty well in school, the opposite side of this is being too arrogant. It's like you get all, "Oh, I know everything. I'm the smartest guy." No matter what you do, no matter what you learn, no matter how much you learn, there will be so much more out there for you to learn. I mean, that's what I learned about physics. I mean, now I'm 30 in physics. I thought that I should be able to learn everything. But in reality, the more I learn, the more I realize there is so much more that I don't know. So I mean, this is what makes physics for me such a fascinating thing, because there is so much undiscovered stuff out there for me to go and explore and find them out. Okay, so which leads us to the next bit. Taking baby steps. Okay, so you got to baby step your way to success. Success will not come easily. It will not come immediately. So if you're here, hoping for me saying a couple of things that do this and then you get the good results. Unfortunately, this I'm not here. I'm not here to give you that, and probably that doesn't really exist. Okay, so the baby step is really important. Is so you take baby steps towards your success, and you got to have patience, because progress sometimes can feel really slow, or sometimes you feel like you're not really making any progress. But actually, what you didn't notice is actually secretly you are slowly baby stepping forward, and then before you know it, you will really get it later. So this is why effective goal setting is a really important. Actually, I've written a blog article about effective goal setting on how to do it properly. I mean, I do that myself as well, and I really recommend you doing it. Actually, I'll post the link down at the description below after today's lecture. So effective goal setting is really important. So what you need to do is you need to identify where you are at, kind of assess yourself. Be realistic with yourself. Think that currently I'm this level, I'm still having a trouble with that chapter, I'm still getting C's but not really getting this, and I want to get an A grade. And then you think about the steps, if you want to get there. So you kind of have to set little goals along the way. And of course, celebrate every little victory. So for every little step you take forward, celebrate that. Let's say you are having trouble to study consistently every day. Actually, I'll cover this habit later. So you're having trouble doing that, and then for 1 week you're able to study for half an hour every day without stop. I mean, that is really worthy of a celebration. Say you know all the ways you are getting C's, and then now you got a B. You know, that is worthy of a celebration. You're not really quite where you want to achieve, but you know you're making a constructive step towards the solution. So that is worthy of a celebration, because you don't really want to, you know, when you make progress and then you beat yourself up, you know, you have way too high expectations of yourself. You're like, oh man, A, but I'm still far, I'm still a long way away. Oh man, it's too difficult. And then, you know, you beat yourself up. You don't really want, you want to say you want to get A, and then say you manage to climb up a little bit and say, yes, I've taken a step up. Let's go up to the next step. You know, it's like you got to encourage yourself. You got to celebrate every little victory. And along the way, of course, give yourself challenges that are well matched to your ability. I cannot stress anymore how important this is. And of course, you got to be willing to always test yourself, always push yourself to become better. Okay, so what I mean is, say your ability level is over here. I mean, if you give yourself something that is way too difficult, probably you get all stressed out and all freaked out, and you get a lot of anxiety. But if you give yourself things that are way too easy, like the challenge is right down below here, you know, you get very boring. You know, things will get very repetitive. So which means you got to give yourself challenges that are kind of well matched to your ability. Ideally, somewhere slightly above your current ability level, so that you know it's you feel challenging enough for you to meet them. And then once you reach there, it's like, you know, you get better, and then you feel really good about it. So this state, it's actually discovered quite recently by a psychologist named Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. He's written a really good book about it. It's called the flow state. You know, the state of absorption where your ability and the challenges you give yourself, they are really well matched. And then you are in a state where, you know, you're getting things done, you're making improvement, you're making steps forward, and then we get like all absorbed. And it really helps a lot with helping us enjoy our work as well. I'll give you an example by going to the gym. Okay, so say you are like a really scrawny dude, you know, it's like, I mean, just like me, I'm not like really fit or anything. Okay, so say when I go to the gym and then I want to get like all jacked up, like Dwayne Johnson, the picture over there. I mean, for me to do that, I can't really say, hey, you know, I'll lift 30 kilograms of weight like right away. I need to start somewhere. I need to start small. Okay, so when I'll start like, okay, you know what? I'll try 5 kg, you know, like pretty light, and then start lifting, maybe 10 reps, and then you just keep on going. Oh, sorry. Yep. And then you just keep on going. Okay, I mean, when you first start, and then after a while, 5 kilograms, 10 reps will be very easy to you. I mean, and then of course, if you want to get muscles, you know what you need to do. You need to increase the intensity. Maybe do more reps, or maybe lift heavier. I think some personal trainer might kind of give like supply me details, but not important. The point is you got to make it more difficult. Maybe 6 kilograms, and then keep 6 kilograms. So once you get there, you know, maybe 8 kilograms, you know, keep increasing. So you keep increasing the difficulty, and then once you keep meeting that, you know, you celebrate that, so that, you know, it pushes you to keep going forward. And after a while, you know, before you know it, you'll be starting lifting 30 kilograms before you even know it. Actually, it's kind of like what happened over the summer holidays last year. So when I started, I started to, you know, decide to be a bit more fit, so I started running. So when I first started running, you know, I was only able to run like 1 kilometer at most, you know, and I get all tired. I mean, nerds and exercise don't really get along. So, you know, I started running. So when I first 1 kilometer, it's like really difficult. I was like, yep, but you know, I was really happy. It's like, oh man, finally I ran. It's like the fact that I ran is really like a big accomplishment. And then, you know, I kept doing it. And then before I knew it, I was running 2 kilometers, and then I celebrated that because, you know, I can run a further distance. And I keep doing that, you know, for every progress I make, I celebrate that, and after celebrating, that wants me to keep going again. Then when I keep going, I increase the challenge. And then before I know it, by the end of the summer holiday, I think it was a 3 months holiday, and then I was able to run 7 kilometers, which is really impressive. I'm almost like 3 kilometers away to be able to run 10 kilometers and join like a marathon in just 3 months time. I mean, I was really proud of that accomplishment. So, in other words, you know, take baby steps towards your progress. Don't rush anything. So be patient, and before you know it, you are going to make a lot of progress before you even know it. Right. So this leads me to the next point. So striving for consistency. Okay, I'm pretty sure many students, they are guilty of this. Say you have 1 whole year to prepare for an exam, say VC exam, and then at the start of the year. Okay, so during the year, you know, you're kind of nice and easy, and you keep putting things off like, oh man, we still have a long time to go. Don't worry about it, don't worry about it. And then time before you know it, it's already like say September. You still have 2 more months during the exam, and then you start panicking. It's like, oh crap, it's like exam, what, 2 years, and then reality starts to hit you. And then what you do, like the classic, student term, cramming, trying to do like within say in a short time, try to squeeze everything into your head, and then during the exam, regurgitating everything out, and then after the exam, you just forget everything. Okay, so of course, cramming is a very, very, very bad idea. I mean, I can spend hours and hours talking about why that is a bad idea. But the gist is this: because cramming, psychologically speaking, it relies a lot more on short-term memory. Now, when you're cramming, you're not giving the mind enough time to actually process the information. You're relying on short-term memory, and your mind will not be able to process the information. So what happens is, during the exam, you just throw the information out, and then after the exam, you just forget everything. I mean, for high school or you might be able to pull this off, but in uni, try doing that, you'll be in serious trouble, because in uni, for everything you learn in the first year, you need to remember that for the second year, and everything you learn in the second year, you need that for the third year. So cramming, it's not something you want to do. So what is the opposite of cramming? It's basically consistency. Spread out your learning, learn a little bit every day. This is going to take discipline, but trust me, it will really, really pay off if you start cultivating this, as early as you can. Okay, so for those of you who have learned, like say, a music instrument, probably you heard this advice. It's much better to practice 30 minutes every day rather than 2 hours every 3 days. Okay, so this is what I call consistency. So you try to study consistently. I mean, ever since I went to uni, I pretty much study more or less every day. I mean, sometimes I study a lot, sometimes not a lot, but I try to keep the consistency. Study at least for like 1 hour every day, so that just keep it going nice and smooth. And actually, I think that is actually the main reason why I'm able to kind of do so well in exam, because I don't really cram during exam at all. I spread it out. Before the start of the semester, actually, I already start learning all the stuff that I'm supposed to learn. Right. Okay. So the reason for that is because when you learn slowly, say a bit, your mind will be able to kind of process the information. Your mind will take some time to absorb the information, try to take the information you have and kind of connect with all the other information you have. So we try by doing it in small dosages. Your mind will be able to retain the information a lot better, and then you will have a much stronger understanding and a more durable learning. So in other words, like start studying now. Don't leave it till the last minute. So start studying now. Actually, wait, don't start studying now. Do it after I finish. Do it after I finish the lecture. I'll give you something to work on towards the lecture. So don't turn this off just yet. Right. Always a reflector and planning. I'm not too sure how many people actually do this. Actually, this is something I try to do a lot when I tutor my students. I reflect on the things we have learned and give them some plan to work on. When they go back home. Also, reflecting and planning is two very powerful things and two very powerful habits that you can cultivate to help you study a lot better. Also, by reflecting. So, what is reflecting? Reflecting is basically you think about the things that you have learned. It's kind of like it sounds pretty philosophical, but it's kind of something that many students they do really do. It's kind of like they learn the stuff and then they say, oh yeah, I learned it. But rarely do people actually think about the things they have learned. So say for example, Newton's second law. F is equal to ma. For those of you who are doing physics, so the harder you push something, the faster it will accelerate. Okay, so I mean, and then I relate to my experience. Relate to the things that I have already known. So I relate. Oh yeah, I mean, if I push a thing, how do you know it's going to go faster? Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. And then you also use that to relate to things. Friction. So it's like if you push something, it will start to slow down. It's like you're making the connections right. So it's like reflecting on the things that you have learned. There are many different ways to do it. You can maybe relate to your own personal experience, try to write out a summary, or try to elaborate in your own words. Those are like really powerful ways you can reflect on the things that you have learned. And of course, you got to plan as well. Like figure out what works for you. Like think where you are now, and then you try to move on try to go on for the next couple of days. It's kind of like taking baby steps in habit number 5. I mean, ultimately, reflecting and planning, you got to think for yourself and find out what works best for you. Don't just follow other people. I mean, it's not like you see maybe there is this guy in school that does really well in school. I mean, the study techniques or study strategy that he has used might work for him, but it might not necessarily work for you. Or maybe for him, he's more of a really reader. He likes to read, but for you, you prefer to look at videos and listen to your teacher speak. Like maybe you're more of an auditory learner. So whatever works for him, might not really work that well for you. So you got to think for yourself and figure out what works best for you. And actually, that is the reason for today's lecture. I never really say, okay, to study well. Step 1, get 5 books. Step 2, study half an hour every day. Step 3, write a summary page after you finish a chapter. I don't really do that. When it comes to studying there, to me, I have no structure. I just go in there and just study and just, but the thing is, I still apply the principles that I've covered. So I'm just giving ideas, like giving a couple of habits that so you can think which one you want to cultivate and which one you want to really work on, like after you finish the lecture. Right. Okay. So for number 8, so don't try to do too much. Okay, so life, it's really busy. There's so much things going on around us. There is school, there is work, there is housework, there is girlfriends, there is relationships, family, friends, so on and so forth. Religion, spirituality. Okay, so there's so much things going on around our life. Okay, so what happens is very often we catch ourselves like wanting to do a lot of things. It's like, oh, there's so much things that we want to do, but and then we ended up like not doing everything well. Okay, so of course, don't try to do too much. So this is why like you got to prioritize like the things that is important, that you should be that you should attend to right now. And also the most important thing is when you are doing something, focus on that single task fully. So only one thing at a time. Multitasking is a bad idea. When it comes to studying, because it requires a lot of like focused thought and focused like processing of all the information that you have learned. So don't try to do multitasking, studying 2 things at once. That never worked for me. You can try it out and then you see what I mean. Okay, so focus on the single task of fully. And what I mean by that is because very often it's whenever we do something, we want to do something else. Say for example, like say I'm studying. So when I studied and then I was like, oh man, I want to hang out with my friends. Oh, it's like, oh, I want to hang out with my friend. Oh man, and then that affects your focus in studying, and then you end up like not studying really well. And then after doing that, and then later when you hang out with your friend, you feel bad for not studying properly just now. And then when you're with your friends, like, oh man, I should have studied better. It's like, oh, like what was I thinking, And then you affect the time you had with your friend, because you can't really focus on just being like with your friends. So you ended up like trying like doing everything half-heartedly, and then you ended up doing nothing really well. Okay, so is there a way to kind of improve on this? Yes. Actually, there is a technique called batching. It's actually a really handy tip to increase the productivity. The basic idea is kind of like you chop up the task into very small bits, and then you allocate a very maybe a specific amount of time just for that task. Say, okay, so I'll spend half an hour reading this book. I'll spend half an hour doing math. I'll spend half an hour doing English. I'll spend half an hour, working on my website, for example. Okay, so when you read a book, and then you just focus, and then you consciously focus at the task. What you'll find is that when you try to work on a task, your mind will start to stray, kind of like you'll get distracted. It's very natural, because we live in a world full of a distraction. So you got to consciously say that, okay, so focus, alright, half an hour, right. The time is not there. I'm still going to focus on it. So it takes practice. So after a while, over time, your mind will be able to focus a lot better. It's like your mind will be, oh yeah, focus now. So I'll do those things a little later. And so this is called a batching. So you take the things you have to do, chop it out in small batches, and then work on it. It's something that I've adopted. I think like 2 years ago. I actually learned the term batching quite recently, and then I realized, oh yeah, this is the thing I've been doing like all the while. It's actually really a powerful way to increase productivity. So if you're having some trouble with that, definitely try doing a batching. Okay, so the thing I've described earlier, like when you are doing, like you're studying your homework and then your mind wants to do something else. That is called the gray zone. It's like kind of like gray. It's like the gray zone is like you're all over the place. But so stay out of the gray zone as much as you can. It's a very counterproductive area to be in. Okay, so this leads to the final study habit. So balance out leisure time and study time. Alright. Okay, so I'll say this outright. So having a more balanced life and a healthy life is way better than just scoring well. Okay, because I mean now I know it's VC, so you want to focus all your attention on VC, and then you have a tendency to neglect all the other areas in your life. Ideally, you don't want to do that, because having a more balanced life, having a healthy life is way better than than just simply scoring well. It's kind of like to the first habit, like looking at a bigger a picture, because you don't want to finish your final exam VC and then at the end you kill it, you become a zombie after you finish, and then you lose all your friends. So like having a nice balance with it. I mean life, there are so many different aspects, like health, spirituality, friends, family, like work, studies, so on and so forth. Okay, so don't exhaust yourself by studying too hard. Actually what I find is by not studying that hard, just having the time to relax actually helps a lot when it comes to studying. Yeah, because what happened was, what I find is for me, let's say during the exam I get a bit stressed out, and I try studying 10 hours a day, and then and then next day I get even more exhausted, and then I can't really sustain that for that long, and then I find it's actually I can learn a lot better if I just cut it down to maybe 5 hours a day. Because exam period, and then I spend the other time, just hang out with friends, be more relaxed, just be more, just keep things nice and easy. And what I find is that actually I learn more in that 5 hours than that 10 hours that I try to squeeze in for my exams. You can try that out and see how that works. And of course, on the other side is don't play too much. We all know how that turns out. So work-life balance is something that works different for everyone. So you got to find out what works best for you. Different people will have different priorities. For me, my priorities are my work, my studies. I have a girlfriend. Actually, I just bought a dog, so I have to take care of her a lot. It's like kind of like my baby at the moment. I'll show you pictures sometime in the future. And exercise, trying to keep fit. So it's like also that is like my work life a balance, right? Okay, so I've covered a lot of things. So the thing is, so all these things, after you heard it, you must be thinking, oh man, it's pretty commonsensical. It's pretty. Once I do it, and then I'll be able to study well. Okay, so the thing is, all these things, it will only be beneficial to you, and you will only see results if you actually go in and cultivate them, and you go and apply them. Just knowing them alone, it's not enough. Actually, we know a lot about what it takes to become successful. We have a lot of knowledge in the area, but why is it that nobody, not many people is actually that successful? Okay, so which is why for your very first task. So what I want you to do is just look through the list of the 9 habits that I've listed. So I have 9 of them. Actually, you can just get the handout that I've attached down at the description. Okay, so just pick one of them. Okay, so just pick the one that you think you need to work on the most. I think for me, definitely trying to do too much, because I have a tendency to try to get all over the place. Okay, so just pick one and focus on just cultivating that just for a week, and then next week if you are really good, you can just work on that. Pick another one and just keep working on that, and I guarantee you'll definitely see improvements in your efficiency in studying. Okay, so I think that's it for now. So I went through a lot of stuff. So that's the end of the lecture. Okay, so before I head off, so I'll just say a couple of things. Actually, I'll just have a look at the watch page to see what's going on down there. And exercise, trying to. Alright, actually, I'll miss this stuff. Also, there is that I'm doing typically in my daily life. So every. Alright, right. So anyway, so I covered a lot of stuff. So so this is a very. So I think this brings me to the end of the very first lecture. So for those of you who are watching this, so I just want to say this again. So a very big thank you for coming. And this lecture will be recorded, so in the future, if you want to look at it, it's you can look at it from my YouTube channel. So for the next lecture, I'll be covering on physics. So there is still 2 weeks from now. So thank you once again. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys again. So now I have to turn this off. Okay, how should I do this? Okay, you can stop watching now. There we go.